Hello and welcome to Star Wars The Living Set. Will, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Excited to be back for another episode, although we're going to take a brief pause at the beginning just to talk about what we do.
Yeah.
So Will and I started this channel how many ever months ago,
Yeah.
and we really wanted to talk about Star Wars The Living Set. So if you're here, you probably already know what it is, but as you can see, there's some posters behind us of the cards. We talk about the cards, and we talk about kind of the characters behind them. We talk about the actors that play them, and then even sometimes kind of the artwork around them. So what have been some things you've learned about doing this so far that we've been together?
I've learned a lot more facts about like the evolution of Star Wars cards from the 1977 all the way to here, the Star Wars Living Set.
Yep.
But also just all the info that we research on all the characters.
Yep.
I'm a really big Star Wars fan, so I already kind of did a lot of that. But I've learned so much,
Yeah.
like all these famous actors that played these just like random characters that you wouldn't even know. All these different facts about them, all the different backstory, all the different fan stuff. I've just learned so much about everything.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you guys checking us out. And again, hopefully you check out our other videos too. We spend each episode talking about usually 4 cards. Sometimes it's 2. We've even had a couple special episodes. We talk about other things with Star Wars Living Set. But again, thank you for joining us. And if you're interested in the cards, Topps.com every single week has 2 new cards available, and the artwork is brought to you still by Kris Penix, doing all 4 of the cards so far. So let's jump into our cards right away. We are on card number 121. Will, you're going to kick us off this time with Logray.
Is it Logray or Logray?
Logray, I don't know, whichever pronunciation you want to go with.
Okay.
I don't speak Ewok, so I don't know which dialect it is.
I believe it's Ewokese.
Ewokese it might be. All right, Logray from Return of the Jedi. Tell us about this guy.
So, Logray, we're going to go to stats quick. They made 1,303. 41 have been graded, 29 10s, and 12 9s. The actor of Logray is Mike Edmonds.
Yep.
And then some other things that he was also in is Dark Crystal, Time Bandits, and also Harry Potter.
Yeah, so those are a couple of throwbacks, especially Dark Crystal and Time Bandits. Definitely some interesting kind of a theme of characters working together through those movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was also the Ewok that ordered all the rebels in Return of the Jedi to be cooked. I believe it was probably after the part that 3PO was trying to tell them not to, and then the Ewoks took it wrong and were like, okay, he wants us to cook them.
Yeah, I think he's the one who's kind of staying there, emotions for them, because they're all being carried out on the sticks.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they put him above the fire. I think he's that guy right there. Yep.
And then...
He's a shaman.
Oh, he's a shaman or like a medicine man for the Ewok tribe that we visit and see.
Yep.
And then he was credited with the Yub Nub chant.
Which, I mean, probably his most greatest achievement of all time is to lead the Yub Nub song, which under the newer versions is no longer there, though.
So sad.
It's got like this weird techno thing going on. But in the original ones, of course, the Yub Nub song at the end was very, very popular. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then his name is actually not spoken, but it does say Logray in the credits. So that's how we know.
Yeah, so again, one of the few named Ewoks, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about this character this week?
Not much, just besides that I love all the Ewoks, and I think they're amazing. And yeah.
And they took down the Empire. So that's a good thing.
They really did.
They did. All right, let's go to card number 122, Chancellor Valorum from Phantom Menace. We'll do some stats real quick. They made 1,208 of these. 28 have been graded so far by PSA, 22 10s, and 6 9s. Now, the actor is actually a British actor named Terence Stamp, who actually grew up in London during World War II. So if you think of like the beginning of the Chronicles of Narnia, the Narnia movie, right, where London is being bombed, that's kind of where he grew up at. He's been in a ton of different things, 99 different shows and movies.
Wow.
Some of his big ones, of course, obviously Star Wars, where he played a very brief role. He was also General Zod in Superman and Superman 2. We'll put a picture up there for that one. And allegedly, he was also asked to potentially try out for James Bond after Sean Connery stopped being James Bond.
Really?
That would have obviously changed his career at that point.
Interesting.
So for this movie, though, everything that they filmed with him was actually done on a blue screen. It used to be now it's a green screen, but then it was a blue screen. So he didn't really have a whole lot of interactions. He had a very short window of time. Now, the character's full name is Kris Valorum. He's from Coruscant, of course. And he served as the Supreme Chancellor until there was a vote of no confidence. So if you remember back to the beginning of Phantom Menace, when they actually go there to the main world, to Coruscant, to plead with the Senate, nothing happens, right? And that's when Padme says she asks for a vote of no confidence, and then that's when I think he kind of sits down really hard knowing he's out.
Yeah.
And that's the last time we see Chancellor Valorum. But again, pretty cool when you think about how they filmed just a very small window of time for him, and really the long different things that he actually has been in, all the different things that the actor has been in.
Yeah.
Not much backstory online about him. They talk about kind of his rise to power. They talk about other things. They didn't spend a lot of time on backstory on this guy.
Yeah.
He's only on the screen for a couple minutes. Obviously, we never see him again. Hopefully, he's back on Coruscant, living a happy life, doing whatever it is he's
I
doing.
think we actually do see him very briefly in the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Towards one of the later seasons.
Really?
I think we see him very briefly.
Okay.
When they're going into all that stuff with like Sifo Dyas. It's kind of
Oh, yeah.
after stuff. I don't know if you remember that.
I do, yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
But we go and visit him very briefly. I don't know if this.
Oh, I do remember that now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if it's the same actor, but he is living in this like nice like house. He's got like his own little like floaty mansion.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So he's not farming, but he's living in a nice getup.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. Nice call on that one. See, you talked about learning things. I'm learning things. All right. Card number 123, Kira from Solo. Now, this character, of course, made a pretty big splash, not only because of the character, but also the actress. So first we'll do some stats. They made 1,737 of this one, 83 PSA graded so far, 67 10s. That's a lot, and 15
Wow.
9s. Now, the reason why this actress came out really big, of course, it's Emilia Clarke. She had recently come off of being done filming Game of Thrones. Now, you haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Nope.
You're going to have to wait a while. But anybody who's seen it, of course, she was one of the main characters throughout the entire series. Very, very popular. I learned that was actually only her third professional job.
Wow.
Was that, which I thought was pretty interesting. Again, kind of coming off of a huge, some call it the greatest TV show of all time. So, of course, the interesting thing that she also did after Game of Thrones, she actually got a tattoo on her wrist, I don't know which one, of 3 dragons to remind her of the dragons that she co-starred with. They weren't real dragons, but there was 3 dragons there. So this character, Kira, was first introduced in a 2018 novel called Most Wanted. And it was actually oh, have you read it?
I have that one.
You should check
I
it out.
got it at the source, and I
Okay.
read it.
Yep.
And then I remember seeing Kira in it.
Yep.
And then she actually like without going into too much, she duels Vader.
Correct.
And I was very surprised because I was like, when was this made, and was this made before or after Solo?
It was made before this. That was the first time that her character was introduced.
Huh.
Was in that book. Was in that book called Most Wanted. So of course in the movie we see that she grew up with Han and Corellia, and then many years pass. They go apart, but then all of a sudden when they come back together on Dryden Voss's ship, Han and Kira recognize each other, and then throughout the entire movie they're together. And the interesting part is at the end of the movie,
Yep.
Kira of course helps to kill Dryden Voss.
Yep.
Takes his cool little ring that you can open up, close the shades and then fly the ship with.
Yep.
Talks to Darth Maul, and Darth Maul says, "Come see me, and we'll complete your training or whatever it is. We're going to be working much closer together."
Yeah, which seems a little.
Little sketchy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to have him as a coworker.
Yeah.
But apparently Emilia Clarke signed on for a bunch of movies. So who knows where they go with that one? Who knows if she's actually going to be in other movies? I would say out of all the cards that we've done so far, this is card number 123. This is the card that I would say in the character that has the most backstory online and most additional content out of anything I've ever seen for such a small window in time on a movie.
Exactly.
Now, if you look up Luke, he's been in every movie. There's a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But Kira had a very small time on screen. Yet there's a ton of stuff about how she was raised, where, and then a ton of stuff about her leaving Corellia, getting involved with Crimson Dawn,
Yeah.
all the street gangs, and then where she is now. Pretty cool stuff on that one.
I do wonder though, because I don't know if it's a show or a movie, but I did hear they're making a Lando something.
Yeah.
And we know that Han and Lando and Kira were all hanging out together.
Yep.
Lando and Kira kind of had a thing.
Correct.
So-
Allegedly.
I mean, if it's a movie, we might see her in that, or in any of the other 3 upcoming Star Wars movies.
That could be cool.
You never know.
Could be cool, yeah. I'm a big fan of the character. I thought she did a good job. Again, it was hard because I of course watched Game of Thrones, so it was hard to at first see her as not Daenerys Targaryen, but then to have her go into this role, thought she did a great job.
Yeah.
All right, last card, we're going to go to you. Card number 124, Battle Droid from Phantom Menace.
So this one is just generic battle droid. It's just one of
Like Joe Battle Droid.
Joe Battle Droid, Jeff Battle Droid, whatever you want to call him. But this one basically does it for all the different battle droids.
Representing all the battle droids.
Technically, all the B1 battle droids,
Nice.
if you want to get really specific.
You are correct.
So we're going to stats quick. So they made 1,376. 50 have been graded. 40 10s and 10 9s.
Okay.
The voice of the battle droids is Matthew Wood. He also voiced for General Grievous.
Yeah, so if you go back and watch one of our previous episodes with General Grievous, Matt Wood, I believe, actually started as just a sound technician guy.
Yeah.
Working for Lucasfilms or working for whatever. And then they really liked the way he did the voice on some of these different aspects of it. And not only is he then did Grievous, but he does the battle droids. He also does them, I think, in the Clone Wars too.
I think he
or
does.
any of the animated stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The battle droids are first seen in The Phantom Menace, on the Battle of Naboo. And then they were kind of designed, like, in the movies and stuff,
Yep.
to be able to transport easily. So we kind of see them when, towards the end of Phantom Menace, they're on, like, those, like, I forgot what they're called.
The big transport ships for
Big
him?
transport things.
Yeah.
If you want to comment what they're called, you might check that out. Anyway, continuing. And then they're all, like, folded up and stuff, and they, like, drop down, and then they all unfold super synchronized, and it's, like, the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Really, when I was younger and I watched that, every single time I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so
It's funny you say that, because that was when that was the Phantom Menace was the first Star Wars movie that came out. Like, it was like a 25-ish year span. And I remember in the preview, all of a sudden they had all these them unfolding, and then all of a sudden there's the scene where when they unfold, and all of a sudden you see the background, all of a sudden the head just kind of flips up.
Yep.
Like, that was a big, huge preview, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then they were, of course, battle droids were designed by the Geonosians, and they had the big battle droid factory on Geonosis, which then got blown up. But, that's in a later one. And then more about, like, the actual design of them, like, outside the movies. So, like, the actual designers who
Not by the Geonosians.
Not by the Geonosians, but by, like, the actual designers that create all the stuff.
Yep.
Some of the things that, like, they had for, like, sort of prompts were robotic stormtrooper and skeleton but droid form.
Yeah, so they talked about how the stormtroopers are obviously like a full body, like a full armor, and they wanted to design this as more of like the skeleton, and you can kind of see that, right? They're very thin, they're very clunky. Again, they kind of get personalities later on. Of course, at first all we hear from them is Roger, Roger, but otherwise they get a lot funnier in the later stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean they even have a little bit of funny parts in Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon is trying to convince the one, and he goes like, "Wait, that's not compute. You're under arrest."
Yep, absolutely. Cool.
And then
they're obviously, the other part is just they're in a lot of other things, right?
Yeah, like they're in Rebels for a little bit. They're in Clone Wars, obviously, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, they're kind of everywhere. They're kind of the all-purpose, battle droid, as you call them, the B1 droid. So they're kind of all over. So this one card represents hundreds of millions of other droids.
Probably more than hundreds of millions. Probably at least a billion.
We'll go with a billion. It's fine.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So think about for this week. What is your favorite card for this week?
I don't even need to think. Kira.
You're going Kira? I'm actually going to go Battle Droid.
That was my second choice.
And the reason I went Battle Droid, I just like the simplicity of it. I like the style of it. Kira was my second one, but I definitely like Battle Droid. Yeah. Good. Anything else for these cards this week?
I don't think so.
All right. So thank you guys again for joining us. Hopefully you like our show. Hopefully you check out our other 30-some episodes. If you're interested in checking out, leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Otherwise, we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.